Okay, we are recording now. I'm going to present the Schoology page for this class. And I'm going to skip down to the syllabus and present the syllabus. We'll go through that quickly. This is part of the ritual of coming together for the first time. Right now, as I'm presenting, you're all experts at Zoom. I know this, but I'll just say it anyway. As I'm presenting a screen, the screen ought to be full size on your screen. And being full size, it makes it easier for you to read. When I am not presenting an alternate screen, when I'm using my camera, if you pin my panel using the pin feature, then then I'll be big. But then again, no, this year I'm doing something a little different. So it's not necessary that you pin my image. Okay, so the syllabus. The catalog description is there. You can read that. I hope you did. The big idea, though, of this course is that we are presenting a course to people who may take one and only one CS course in their entire career. And the goal is that after taking this course, you should be able to do something useful in your own discipline. So the idea is that being able to code gives one a number of advantages over folks who can't code. And those advantages should be applicable to the kind of work that you do in your own major. Perhaps it might be able to automate drudgery in homework assignments. Perhaps it'll enable you to gain insights into problems in your major that you otherwise couldn't have. But the whole point, though, is that this course should enable you to be able to do something useful in your own discipline. Now, there's a hidden agenda. Of course, I want to convert all of you into CS majors, but there's always that in the back of my mind, and I'll work in those work that in subtle ways throughout the course. But if that doesn't happen, I'll be very, very pleased if indeed you are able to do something useful in your discipline using the lessons that you learn in this course. Okay? Now, if you are a CS major or you become a CS major or minor, it's really important for you to understand that this course doesn't count towards the CS major or minor. Okay? So this really is designed for people who are not CS majors and minors. And if you do indeed become that, it's not going to count towards your degree or major or minor requirements. We're going to learn a language called Python. And Python is wonderful. It's really, really chill. It's very forgiving. It's very gentle. And it's very easy. Now, instructors should never say that. Nobody should ever say something is easy because one person will find something easy, one person will not. But let's say this then. It is relatively easy compared to other computer languages to get stuff done in Python. In other languages, what might take 1,000 lines of code to do, in Python might take 50 lines of code because there is so much pre-written, so many libraries to implement specialized functions that are pre-written and available to you that a lot of the complexities in programming applications for your major have already been written for you. So you can just make use of those. In fact, there's a joke about that. Let me zoom that in. This is what it's like to program in Python. You present your thesis to your supervisor, your mentor, your advisor. And the advisor looks at it and says, you can't just import essay. Okay, and the reason why it's funny is because Python is kind of like that. When you leverage these pre-existing packages, your programs, the part that you write, becomes really, really short compared to other computer languages. That's why it makes such a wonderful choice for non-majors, right? Okay. Let me also say that it is a requirement in this course that you interrupt me whenever you have something to say, and it is a requirement in this course, I'll go over this in detail, that you do interrupt me and you do have things to say. So if you have questions, let me know. Okay, just talk, don't raise a hand, just interrupt. Okay. By the way, according to this month's statistics from an organization called Tyobe, Python is the third most popular programming language out of all of the thousands of languages available. So you're learning something that's quite employable, by the way. Okay, here are some of the things that we're going to cover. We'll start doing that today. Variables, lists, dictionaries, tuples, those are the basic building blocks of data in the Python programming language. You'll learn how to get input from a console, namely you and your keyboard. You'll be able to learn how to read and write files. There'll be statements, selection statements, otherwise known as if statements, that allow you to make choices within your code. Ways of repeating code called loops, functions, and the parameters that you give to those functions. And we'll be learning about a bunch of those pre-written libraries. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay, the text is online. The text is required. These are the instructions to gain access to the text. The website is zybooks.com. You would create an account using your Carthage email address on this website, and you pay some money, and you get access to the book. The price of the book is online is far, far, far less than the price of books in the traditional sense, and so that's a bonus. And also being interactive, it should be challenging you and stimulating you as you're reading the material. So the class text is required, and in fact, the assignments to it have already been pre-scheduled. I'll just go over to the problem I'm having right now is Zoom's little window there with the controls nicely covers up all of the parts of the screen that I need to get to make my next point. So that's why I'm stumbling for a moment. Take a look at this screen on the right-hand side. Your assignments, 8 of them are already assigned to you. Okay, so chapter 1 is going to be due on the 19th. Now, it's my habit, don't let this overwhelm you, right? You say, oh my God, I've got all these assignments already. I'm already behind. Well, it is my practice to make assignments available to you as much as I can up front so you can see what's coming. In fact, if you're interested, you can check out future assignments. You can even start them early, okay? So when a reading is, quote, due, it means that after that date, I will pull a report from Zybooks telling me how much of the reading you've done. Okay, so that's what due, a reading is due, means.
So we don't have to take any notes or anything like that?
Oh, I encourage you to take notes, and also I see a mistake. chapter 2 and 3 seem to be assigned on the same day. That's a mistake. I'll correct that. No, I encourage you greatly to take notes.
Oh, I mean
Uh,
like submit notes to you. I'm sorry.
Submit notes. No, 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 no. You do not have to submit notes to me. We'll do a bit of a demo of the zybook, and you'll see what I mean by being able to see, for me to be able to see how much of the work that you've done. And I'll do a demonstration of that in this class.
So then there's nothing that we need to submit on Schoology because you'll see it in zyBooks, right?
Correct. That's a great question. And thank you, Catherine. Excellent, excellent question. Okay, so Lee, I see that you appear to be on an iPhone. I would understand if you can't keep the camera on. So okay, but now is it a j or a sa when is it emoja or emoja or emosia?
Amagia.
Amagia. Hi, are you willing to put your camera on? I'd really prefer it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna go into this later, but let me say a few words about cameras right now, and it also ties in with you interacting with me by just talking. Last term was the worst experience I've ever had as an instructor. It was miserable. I hated it, and I was practically ready to resign and move on to a new career path, like oh, I don't know, go to school to be a plumber. It was miserable. It absolutely sucked. Why did it suck? Because I had no idea if anyone was out there. I had no interaction with the students. Nobody said a word. Cameras were off. It was me talking at a little dot right here, and it was a miserable experience for me. And you know what? I'm not going to do that again. So teaching and learning is a partnership. It's a partnership between the student and the instructor. And that partnership involves energy transfer. Okay, I'm putting out a huge amount of energy in your direction. I can't do that in a meaningful way without you sending me some of your vibrations, right? I have to feed off of your reactions. And if I can't see you, nobody says a word, then I'm not going to do it. We're not going to do it. You know, if nobody's going to give any interaction whatsoever, it'll be just like you know, the stereotypical parent in a car. I'll turn the goddamn car around, and everybody gets Fs. How's that? I'm kidding.
No, we cool.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. By the way, I'm not sure that you can tell so far, but 97.1% of what I say is sarcastic and often in jest. And if you can't tell if I'm joking or not, then I've really succeeded in being an evil professor. And that, of course, is my goal. Okay. So coming back to the syllabus, let me go back here and here and here. Okay, a helpful web resource is given there as a link, intro-to-python.org. That can supplement both the instruction and the zyBooks. We'll be covering in zyBooks chapters 1 through 8, and 1 through 8 are already assigned. You'll see it's supposed to be, I made a mistake, I'll fix it. It's supposed to be one chapter per week. We'll also be doing chapters 10, 12, and 15. Okay, here's a really important point. For some reason, who knows, there are two incompatible current versions of Python. Why? Who knows? it's crazy because why have the later version be incompatible with the earlier version? That's one thing. But B, why maintain two current versions? So point being is that as you Google things, looking for support, looking for help, be very careful that any references that you make use of use the same version of Python that we are using. Otherwise, the information that you gain from this online resource will lead you astray. Now, we're going to be studying Python 3, and so avoid Python 2, okay? It's not common that things work that way, and but there you have it. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
When we do Zybooks, are we gonna have to say that we're using Python 3?
Zybooks, the Zybook is Python 3.
Okay.
So you don't get a choice, which is a good thing. Thank you, Colin.
So is the program built into the textbook? We're not gonna have to download something else.
I'm trying really hard to avoid having you download anything. And there are some advantages to that. One being is that it's difficult, especially through distance, for everyone to download everything that they might need correctly. And it's very hard for me to help you over the internet cure downloading issues, installation issues. So Zybooks has a Python system built in. And for general projects where you're coding your own programs from scratch, we're going to use an online Python environment called Replit, which, yes, it means you got to make another damn account and remember another password, but I'm sorry for that. If you prefer to work with Python directly on your own computer, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And but for the whole class, we'll use Replit. Individuals may choose to host Python on their own computer. Both Windows and Macintosh come with Python installed. However, Macintosh comes with both Python 3 and Python 2 installed. Windows comes with Python 2 installed, and you have to go install Python 3. So I'm hoping to avoid all of that mess by using an online Python environment. But if you want to put Python on your own computer, I have some resources and documentation that I can provide to you on an individual basis. Now, AYDA, is that Ida?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Okay, and now I'm thinking, all right, it's one thing to try to make an effort to get everybody's name right, and then it's another thing when you get someone's name right, and then 3 minutes later you forget. So, Amoja? Am I getting it? Did I remember? Amoja.
Amasia.
Amasia. Okay.
Amasia.
Amasia. Okay, everybody, say it with me. Amasia. Okay.
Amagia.
Amagia. Okay. And I'm very, very sorry if I mangle anybody's name. Not everyone has a simple name like mine. Okay. Can anybody guess how to pronounce my name, by the way?
Kievalowitz.
Hey, that's pretty good, Colin. So think kibbles and bits. Okay, so Kowalowitz. So grading. Look at the weights. You see that they sum to 110%. So there's the extra credit built in. The grades will be calculated based upon 100%. So you've got this little extra because the most that you can achieve is 110. That's the extra credit built in. Okay, so please don't ask for extra credit because it's built in. you see that the zyBooks readings are very heavily weighted. 30% of the 110% available in the course. The projects and homework, as you see there, are 60%. There'll be a midterm and a final. The midterm and the final will be multiple choice, and they'll be administered through Schoology. Okay? Anybody have any questions? No.
Is the grade based on, I guess, how well we read it or how well we know it?
The reading grade, you mean?
Yes.
The reading grade, as we'll see and when I demo, zyBooks has two kinds of gradable components. One is participation. So this is literally the case where everybody gets a participation trophy. So the participation exercises are you simply went through it. You clicked something, you watched something, and you get credit for having done so. The second type of gradable component is a challenge activity, and that's something where you actually write some code in the zyBook website, and it gives you the grade feedback immediately. Okay?
Got it.
Okay.
Will the other projects and homework be turned in through Schoology, or will that be similar to how we submit the zyBooks assignments?
Awesome question, Sydney. Yes, Schoology. And you'll submit the Python program through Schoology. Okay, anybody else? If you guys can keep talking this much the whole semester, we'll have a wonderful time. Because, hey, you know, I'm sure you figured this out. If the professor is cranky, everybody's going to suffer. So it is your goal to keep me happy. That's your purpose. Okay. Use of student projects for in-class learning. Now, once you've turned in some projects, occasionally I might select use a student project for presentation in course, in class. And the purpose is not to embarrass. The purpose is to get everybody together to collaboratively correct or address certain issues that were present in the, I'm watching somebody come to the door. I hope they're bringing something good. To address or correct some issues in the project. And I'll remove a name beforehand. Again, the goal is to be productive and constructive. A number of students have presented me with accommodation letters. Now, the accommodations in this course are not going to be that like crucial or important because many accommodations involve extra time. I'm going to give you loads of time. You know, so if in another class an exam might be 30 minutes, in this one you'll get 100 or 200 or whatever it is. So I'm thinking that there won't be any issues with respect to accommodations. However, please let me know what I can do if what I am doing isn't working for you. Okay? And you can always do that privately by email. And I'd be very happy to do whatever it is that I can do to make things right for you. All right, accessibility is related to the topic of accommodations. Interestingly, it's the exact same contact on campus, Diane Showalter. How about learning, concerning the learning outcomes? Modern educators are so concerned with learning outcomes. Frankly, to some degree, it's a bunch of buzzwords, but let's talk about the learning outcomes. The, the material that I have to put forward to you is not a guarantee that you're going to learn it. Okay, so in like the old days, car commercials always said your mileage may vary, right? When they said you'll get 4 miles per gallon with this Oldsmobile, it'll say your mileage may vary. So a lot of the success in succeeding with the learning outcomes will depend on you. So I can't make a guarantee to you that you'll learn what it is that I have to offer. Hopefully, if you feel that you're not getting worth out of the course, you will tell me. You will tell me sooner than later. If you think, oh gosh, I'll just wait until the end and give the guy a terrible review, that doesn't help you. It may feel good for the moment when you trash the review, the course evaluation, but it's not going to help you learn anything. So tell me as soon as the thought occurs to you, okay? We'll work it out. Let me add one more thought to this. You're paying a lot of money somebody is paying a lot of money for you to be here, right? So to make that investment worthwhile, you have to insist upon a quality product. My goal is to deliver a quality product, right? So let's find a way of meeting in the middle. There's possibility of changes in the course. I am not going to be rigidly confined to the syllabus. I reserve the right to adjust the tempo, the pace, the subject matter based upon where I think you are going. In other words, it's another reason why it's really important that you give me feedback. If you don't give me feedback, I have no idea where you are, and you know, it's just going to end in tears. So give me feedback. Academic success and health. Hey, by show of hands, how many people? Well, you know, I can't see you because I'm presenting a screen, but how many people offhand are on campus? And, okay, so that's I couldn't really tell, but all of you, I speak very bluntly. I was born and raised in New York City, so believe me, I have your best interests at heart when I say, remember to get off your ass and go have a good time doing something physical once once in a while, right? So don't 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 be lethargic. Don't do what I do. This is a perfect case where you should do as I say, not as I do. I don't know, but if you can tell, but I am a very, very tip-top physical specimen. And I got this way because I didn't follow the advice that I just gave you, okay? So get up off your butt, go walk, go exercise, go but don't ever come close to anyone else for the rest of your life, because that's you know, that's bad. Okay, so good health is important. Once again, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, office hours. I don't publish office hours because when I have a specific hour to be available, it's probably not an hour that you're available. So instead, every hour is a potential office hour. Use Google Calendar to propose appointments with me, okay? If it's in the evening, that's okay. If it's on the weekends, that's okay. All right, so if you're unsure how to use Google Calendar, we could do a demonstration, but all of you have access to Google Calendar. Here's an important point. When you propose a an appointment, you have to let me know. So that means you have to make sure you send me an invitation. Academic honesty guidelines. They're found online. The TLDR is, you know, don't plagiarize, don't cheat, don't supply false data. I suppose that's more for chemistry, biology, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, well, you know what? This isn't a major requirement for you. So, like I said, I speak plainly. I'm not really going to bust your ass on academic honesty stuff. If you cheat, you're cheating yourself. And so, once again, your mileage may vary. Let's see, about me. Let's see, I think I was gonna, I'll just, why not play a video? I'll play a video and that will suffice for about me. Let me go find it. Let's see, Finder window. All right, and you know what, the easiest way to find it, it's a really big file, so I'll just look for big files. I'll be with you in a second. Let's see, about this Mac. Storage, manage. Okay, here we are. And let's see, is this the big one or the little one? Yeah, this is good enough. So, new share. Can anybody hear that sound? Good, all right.
If I had brought my phone here, imagine this is a phone. I'm an actor. I did some pantomime before. Okay, I'm going to take a selfie. Watch. Now I show it to you. It's the side of my face. Do you see that? It's not bad. It looks really good. See? And it's really easy. So imagine that happened, and now I read this. With just a click, and voila, a portrait in profile. See? Right there. Right there. 200 years ago, you would have, in order to do this, which you can clearly see in my hand, you would have had to sit for a portrait painter to get this shot, okay? Or if you wanted to do it the fast and on the cheap, you'd have a silhouette artist do the job. Working purely by eye, using a piece of black paper and sharp scissors, a skilled silhouette cutter could quickly fashion the paper into a solid profile portrait, which would then be pasted onto a piece of white background paper and framed. Yesterday's silhouette cutter has morphed into today's video rotoscoper. Think Mark Hamill holding a sawed-off broomstick and the rotoscoper matting and transforming him into Luke Skywalker brandishing his light sword, or me holding a cell phone, not really, but anyway. It's not 18th century cut and paste, but you get the picture. Now, when shooting at 24 or more frames per second, laboring over mats for every one of them can be a time-intensive process, unless, of course, you are using an Emmy-winning rotoscoping tool aptly called Silhouette, and it looks like this.
Invented over 100 years ago, rotoscoping is a frame-by-frame animation tracing technique to reproduce lifelike movement. Since then, the term has broadened beyond hand-drawn animation to visual effects. But at its heart, the principle is the same: to trace or cut out objects or characters for isolation and compositing. Roto is now the backbone of visual effects. Enter Silhouette, a fully featured GPU-accelerated compositing system with its standout features being rotoscoping and paint, as well as a total of 142 different visual effects nodes, all enabled for stereo 3D. Our rotoscoping innovations include a system designed for speed and a small memory footprint, allowing thousands of shapes and keyframes without impact upon performance. Silhouette also features a unique hybrid paint system that provides the speed of raster with the repeatability of vector. It's purpose-built for visual effects, including the removal of wires and rigs, tracking markers, blemishes, dirt and scratches, as well as retouching. The work of roto and paint artists is not only time-consuming, but is applied across the majority of shots in a production. For close to 15 years, Silhouette has made a contributing impact to television post-production by making these laborious tasks easier. One roto shape and one paint stroke at a time.
Accepting on behalf of Silhouette are Paul Miller, Peter Moyer, Marco Paolini, and Perry Kilvalovitz.
Okay. So that's what about me. I've been a serial entrepreneur for 40-something years, mostly in the field of visual effects for television and motion pictures. I've also been teaching in the college environment for 16 years. So if you have any questions about how an effect was done, by all means, that's part of the class. You can tell me, you can ask me how they did such and such. And but then again, I'll save you some time, and I'll just answer all of those questions right now by saying, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. I think we've gotten through the syllabus. Thank God, we're all the way through it. Let's see, have we? Click to exit full screen. Oh yeah, then there's the what remains in the syllabus is the diatribe about the rant about you've got to interact with me. If you don't interact, if you don't just talk, if you don't ask questions, then this is going to be a dry, monotonous, awful experience for all of us. So make this fun. You know, let me feed off your energy, and I'll be right back at you with some fun, great material. Okay? All right. Any questions?
I have a comment, and that
Yes.
is that I have sent you an email saying that I can't get into the Zoom room because it has a passcode. I figured it out.
Awesome. What
yeah,
was the
but
secret?
I went back and I re-entered the URL.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, but also don't delete that email because I did also attach accommodations to that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let me stop. How come it's still showing that? Let me share the. Okay, that's interesting. Hello. Started sharing. Okay, I'm not seeing. See, little do you know, but I have another computer down here, so I can keep track of what it is that you're seeing. And right now, I'm seeing a blank screen. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So stop sharing. And
That was going to be my
okay.
other question. Is Perry K also you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm on twice, and just so that I can make sure that what I'm doing makes sense. All right. Let me try one more time. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because this QuickTime is what I'm using to play the video, and also what I'm using. So let me using to show the iPad. So let me quit QuickTime and start over. All right, and new movie. And I'll be with you in 0 seconds. Okay, So we've gone over the syllabus. Let's shift over to zyBooks. And to do that, we'll, let's see, was I showing you the agenda? Oh, who cares? It's gone now. Let's go over to zyBooks, and here's what the zyBooks looks like. Go to zyBooks. Okay, very good so far. Sign in. Okay, so this is the book. These are the chapters, and as I mentioned, we're going to do chapters 1 through 8, then some others like 12 and 15, and some of 11 probably. But let's take a look at what it's like to use the zybook. I'll just jump in the middle here. Let's take a look at string basics. So here, and I'm gonna, there we go. This is an example of a participation activity. And type a string below to see how the string is a sequence. So you're gonna get credit by, oh, look, you already got credit. Okay, so there's your little shield that says check mark, you got credit. So I will get, in the report that I get, this will have added to the percentage of the full body of work that you've completed. Okay, perhaps another example. Let's see, here's another participation activity, which I can't zoom in on because, oh yeah, I can zoom in. Okay. So indicate which items are string literals. That's one. Woohoo! Correct. I'm on a roll. Here's another. Hey there with a period. Yes. Well, I did 2 yeses in a row, so maybe it's just all yeses. Okay. That one wasn't right. So you click the other one, right? And notice that you've been accumulating these check marks. So all of that, you've gotten credit for all of those. Now, generally at the bottom of the page, there's the other type of gradable component. They're called challenge activities. Okay, so the word challenge there. Here's a good example. So you type 2 statements. The first reads the user input. You got to read the question, okay? The first reads the user input into a person name. The second reads the user input into a person age. So you notice where it says your solution goes here. You highlight that. I'm hitting the backspace or delete. And person name equals input. And person age equals input. And let me try running. And the test aborted. What did I do wrong? Well, I should learn Python. I should attend a class. What do you think? So let me just fix that. And then it says all tests passed, and you've gotten full credit for this one. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about zyBooks?
Maybe I just missed this, but did it kind of give you a tutorial on how that you had to do int input?
Yeah, so that will all of that kind of material comes at the top where there's actual text
Oh,
that you would have to read.
right.
So theoretically, none of the activities will ask you something that requires knowledge that hasn't already been in the text.
And then, but if you get it wrong, then it will tell you what you got wrong and how to correct it.
To some degree,
Okay.
it will tell you that you got it wrong. Let's take a look. Let's see. So if I get this one wrong, and it does actually explain in this case, whoops, in this case, it gives a pretty good explanation as to what went wrong. Okay, but not all the time. Okay, does that answer the
Can
question?
on Zybook, can we go back to different chapters that we already finished? Like if we're on chapter 9, I want to go back from some material from like chapter 5 or something like that. Can I go back?
Yes, you can. And in fact, um, uh, it's been said that I am just such a real hard ass about sticking to the due dates, and that once the due date for the reading passes, you can never I'll never regrade it, et cetera, et cetera. Well, other people say that I'm actually just a big softy. And let's say the date for chapter 1 has passed, and then like a couple of weeks later, you go back and you finish chapter 1, and lo and behold, your grade reflects the higher score. But don't tell anybody. That was only between you and me, Lee. Okay?
Will
Okay. Any
Zybook
other?
save our progress as we go, or do we have to finish the chapters in one sitting?
Zybooks does save as you go. Okay. Any other questions?
Just to double check, the homework is like basically built in within like that activities within the book, right?
Correct. Correct. This is one type of homework. It's the readings. The other type is when you yourself create new programs according to a specification that I give you.
And when will we know when those are happening? Are you going to tell us in class, or are you going to put it on Schoology, or?
It'll be on Schoology, and I'll tell you in
Okay.
class.
Excellent.
Okay. You guys are doing great. I am so pleased. Keep up this energy for the whole term. Okay? Otherwise, I will stick beans up my nose until I turn blue and go like this. I'm stamping my feet. Oh, shit. Now the dogs are barking. Okay. Don't do that again. Anybody, questions?
For those challenges on Zybooks, if we get it wrong the first time and we like re-go through it, how you ran it a second time, will that reflect the new grade or will it take the first grade?
It will always reflect the last thing you did. So if you get it right, don't go back and get it wrong. Okay? Okay. Let me see if QuickTime will cooperate with me. Okay, good. All right. I'm going to put into the chat a link, and then we'll go explore what that link has. All right, let me bring up the chat and go find the link. And if you would, please bookmark this link. Here it comes. And go ahead and click on it. And I will present it. Okay. So this is a website called GitHub. Git is a tool that CS people use to keep track of all the versions of their work. so that if you need to go back to an earlier version, that's a very straightforward thing to do. It's also a handy way to collect documents for your use. So if you take a look here, you'll find that the syllabus is also available here. And there's a bit of a preview. I'm going to click back at the top. Just give me a thumbs up. You're able to get to this, yes? Good, good. Now, hey, take a look at projects. Ah, man, you've already got 3 projects assigned. Well, not really. Remember what I said is as much as I can, it's my practice to, instead of keeping it a secret, I will publish in advance what your future projects will be. And this might actually be pretty useful for you because, for example, let's say you're very parsimonious, very economical about what you learn. You could conceivably look at a project and see, okay, I need to learn this and then ignore everything else. I don't recommend that. Not a very particularly helpful practice. But by having the projects available to you in advance, you might have your ear tuned in to certain information. So this is what a project looks like. Let me go to project number 1. So let me zoom in a little bit. Good. So there'll be background. Oftentimes there'll be links to other references. For example, clicking here will get you to the definition of rock, paper, scissors. And that's your first project, by the way, is to implement rock, paper, scissors. And then as I explain things, I will often point to you where in Zybooks to get information about something that you'll need. Sometimes it'll be in chapters that we haven't assigned as reading yet. That's part of why I point out where to find it. So for example, please see Zybooks 5.3. Now, we're going to do 1 chapter a week, right? So chapter 5 is not until week 5. But you need to use a tool called randint, a function called randint. So I tell you where to find it. Okay? Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Now also, I will often give some hints. I might also give an outline of the code. In this case, it's a game, so there are rules to the game. Here's the outline. And then I'll give you samples of output, samples of correct output. So in this case, I ran my program, and it printed, enter one of rock, paper, or scissors, and I entered rock. And it says the computer chose scissors, so the result of the game is rock, blunts, scissors. Okay. I'll often demonstrate bad input. So that is down here at the bottom. I run my program. It prints, enter one of rock, paper, or scissors, and I put in jar. And that is bad input. So part of your job in writing this program is to recognize the bad input and to put out a message saying that's not valid. Okay. Okay, so this is what a sample project looks like. And as you saw, the first 3 projects are already available for you to look at. By the way, it's possible that some of you in the class are secretly computer whizzes. and you've been programming in Python since the age of 3. And if you want to get started doing the projects, go right ahead. But I'm going to ask you for a favor. Don't turn them in until they're due, okay? All right. So let's take a look at our agenda. So that's GitHub. Please bookmark that, okay? That link. Okay, finally, we come to yet another website. You know, websites are good. That's why we have so many of them. This one's called Replit. And let me demonstrate that. You'll have to create yet another account. I mean, that is the story of COVID, right? Is you go from a tiny number of accounts and passwords to an explosion of accounts and passwords. So let's see, it's in, go to my web browser, and I'm going to type in REPL, repl.it, Replit. All right. So over in the top right, you'll notice the sign up. So click on that and go through the process. It should take only a few minutes. So tell you what, I'll pause here, wait a couple of minutes. Please ask questions or just tell jokes, sing a song, giving everybody time to sign up. While you're doing that, I'll just mention that it's not too common where the college offers, any college offers a class on learning things to make your other classes easier. And if you want that, if you will, that's kind of what this class is like, because if you learn to code, you may be able to do things in other classes that otherwise would be tedious or boring. Okay? Okay. Sarah, is that an external microphone to your left?
Oh no, this is my water bottle.
Oh, okay. So I would not have been surprised if you were talking into it. So although some people are near you would have found that to be strange. I thought perhaps you were a podcaster or a streamer. Hey, I got to tell you, everybody, one of the likely outcomes of this course is not being able to write League of Legends or Minecraft. So in case you thought that, I'm going to bust your bubble right now. Okay, let's go back to Replit. I hope that everyone has had a chance to sign up. Here we are. I will log in. I'll use, okay. So when you first enter, the menu is over here on the left, which I believe you can make appear and disappear by clicking on these 3 lines. If you click on My REPL, so go ahead and do this. Click on My REPLs. Whoops. That's actually the wrong screen. How did I get, let's do that again. I should have deleted all of these. So follow along with me. Click on the plus sign to create a new REPL. And this one will be for in-class use. So you could use the same one over and over again as we do experiments in class. So I'm clicking on the plus sign, and then I'm going to select Python. See, it says create new REPL, and I'm going to select Python, and it wants a name for your REPL, and it comes up with these ridiculous combinations of random words. So I might do, let's say, in class. Public, private, doesn't matter. And you say create REPL. Oh my goodness, something's happening. Is anyone meeting with success? Any thumbs up? I see no thumbs up. I see a few thumbs up. My, what lovely thumbs you have. Okay, so this stuff on the left, you can make appear in this, oh, that's not true. On the left, the one that looks like a document actually refers to your files. And you start off with a Python file already created. It's called main.py. And can I move this? Oh, good. The middle is whatever file you click on the left-hand side will be shown in the middle. So here is an empty Python program. On the right-hand side is a window with two tabs. One says shell, and it's nice and hard to read. And the other says console. Now, console is where we'll start, okay? Python is able to run in two modes. Mode one being interactive, like you see it here. And mode two is sort of running it like an external program, like running any kind of program. And we'll demonstrate that some other day. But today, let's stay in the console. And this is a live instance of interactive Python right in front of you. So hit return a few times, and you should see your little caret. And Python is acting in an interactive manner. So if I say 8, what is the value of 8? The value of 8 is 8. And shall we, I think I can make this a little bit bigger for you. Good, that's probably as big as I dare go. So what's the value of 1 plus 2? 3. Okay, so this is live, it's interactive. How about, what's the value of value? Okay, I've run into my first snag. Okay, so Python strings are surrounded by either single or double quotes. So if I had said single quote, value, the value of value, the string value is the string value. Woo, awesome. How about this? Single quote, value, double quote. Notice how they don't match? Is that okay? No. Okay, how's everybody doing? Can you give me some feedback, please? Anybody questions?
So like all of the strings are just the like numbers.
Well, that's actually a pretty sophisticated question. There are certain words that Python recognizes as part of the Python language. Any string which are not one of those words, called a keyword, those are called keywords, or reserved words. Any string that's not one of those is got to be surrounded by quotes. So let me give you an example. True with the capital T is a reserved word. A string with a quote around it, with a matching quote at the end, that's a string. So let's try this. True equals, notice I have two equal signs there. I'll get to explain that in a minute. Does true equal the string true? Nope, false. Okay. Allow me to introduce the idea of a variable. Okay, so variables are cups that hold data, and the cup has a name, and the cup has contents. So for instance, here is a cup called X, and its contents will be 19. Notice there's no output. So just typing X equals 19 created a cup, gave it the name X, and put the value of 19 into the cup. And I can look inside the cup and see what the value is by typing in X by itself. How about X plus 1? This is also going to look inside the cup, fetch the value, which is 19, then add 1 and give us the result of 20. I'm about to do something that Python allows because it's like really relaxed and really chill. Other programming languages, not so much. Notice that X is the value of 19. It didn't change, by the way. X has the value of 19. So you might think in some programming languages that X can only hold integers. But no, Python is like super chill. Okay, so what's X got in it now? Well, let's find out. Okay, so you're able to reassign the value of a variable. Basically, that's why they call it a variable. But you can put new values into a variable, and the new values don't even have to be of the same type of data as the old value. Just for kicks, let's see what happens when you do this. We do X plus 1. It worked before. Well, that's the problem, okay? So adding a string to a number is an error. How about adding a string to another string? So how about X plus, that does work. You can add a string to a string, and that's just like concatenating. Okay? So how about questions?
Are there different situations when you would use single quotes versus double quotes, or can you do either one?
You can do either one, and there are situations where you'd use one or the other. Let me explain. Suppose I want to put into a string the word don't, which has an apostrophe in it, which is represented by a single quote. So this will be an error if I do single quote, don't, D-O-N, single quote T, and then another single quote. So this will be an error. However, if I do want to include a single quote in my string, I could then, instead of using single quotes as the surrounding quotes, I could use a double quote. D-O-N, single quote, double quote, and that works. So the answer to your question is all of the above. Okay, other questions? Okay, let's take a look at some of the types that are available in Python. Now, these are going to be the built-in types. We've seen two of them so far. One is integer, like 19. And you can say, what is the type of 10? Too lazy to hit backspace. See, that's an integer. And what is the type of a string? Well, that's an instance of a str, a string. How about the type of 10.1? That's something called a float. Now, the word float refers to the decimal place, whereas the word int refers to it being an integer. So there's a kind of a love-hate relationship between integers and floats. The short story is that Python is pretty chill about mixing integers and floats together. It's not at all like mixing numbers and strings. It's pretty relaxed about mixing integers and floats. The big difference between them is whether or not the value can contain or convey a fraction. So a float can represent a fractional value, whereas an integer can't. So for instance, 10.1 plus 10. So an integer plus a float is a float. So what is the type of 10.1 plus 10? So an integer plus a float is promoted to float. Okay, so we looked at strings and integers and floats. There's another one called a Boolean. The word Boolean is named for a mathematician named George Boole, who first described an algebra, a logic based only on true and false. So what is the type of true? It's a bool. So let me demonstrate Boolean operations. Ooh, operations. So by the way, you're already expert at operations and operators. We've used them already. The plus sign represents the operation of addition. And naturally enough, there's also multiplication. Can you see the bottom of the screen, I hope, everybody? Okay, there's also division and subtraction. There's a bunch more, but for now, these basic four are all we need. Okay, I lied. All right, so forget about that. So here's some others. Two equal signs is a test for equality. Less than is a test for something being less than something else. Less than or equal, or greater than or equal. Okay, so these operators result in a Boolean. So where 5 is an integer, 5 equals 5 is a Boolean. 5 less than 5 is a Boolean. 5 less than or equal to 5 is a Boolean with the value of true. So anybody have questions relating to these operators?
So two equal signs, or one equal sign is when you're assigning a value to a variable, and
That's
two
perfect.
equals is when you're asking the program to see if it's equal.
I'm going to turn over the presentership to you because you gave a perfect. Maybe you could teach the rest of the class. Can you do that for me?
I can try really hard, but I don't think so.
Okay, but the fact is, what you just said is 115.7% correct. Okay, perfect. So let me repeat what Milo. Okay, let me repeat what Milo said. So a single equal sign, which by the way technically is also an operator, it's the assignment operator. So x equals 5. That is an operator that assigns the value on the right-hand side to the variable on the left-hand side. But two equal signs in a row with no spaces in between is asking a question. Is the left-hand side actually equal to the right-hand side? So x equals 5 is true. Okie dokie. All right. So another couple of operators that I'd like to show you. If you wanted to add, for example, another value to x, you might say x equals, if I just say 5, that puts 5 in x. But if I wanted to add something to x, it would be x equals x plus 4. Now, don't get weirded out, especially if you're a math major, right? Because you got x on both sides of the equation. Well, it's not really an equation. Okay, so what this says is on the right-hand side of the equal sign, We're going to look inside the cup named X, find out its value, add 4 to it, and then put it into the cup on the left-hand side, which happens to also be X. So you might think of it this way. The X on the right-hand side is the old value, and the X on the left-hand side is the new value. Okay, and what's in the cup called X? 9. Now, something like this is done so often that there is a small shorthand. It would be X plus equals 8. That is exactly the same as having said X equals X plus 8. All righty. Now that also exists for, so plus equals and minus equals and times equals and divide equals. So those are shorthands. Okay. All right. So we haven't done this. Say, what's in X right now? 17. What is X divided by 2? Ah, interesting. So an integer using X happened to be an integer, 17, divided by another integer resulted in a float. You see how Python's really chill about integer and float. Now let me introduce another operator called integer division. So X divided by 2. Okay, so that's an integer division. It does a normal division and throws away any fractional part. Okay, so please play for a moment. Can you, for instance, create 2 variables? Let's call it first underscore name. Let's talk about variable names. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's talk about variable names. So here I have all lowercase with an underscore in between. And that works. So variable names can include lowercase. They can also include uppercase. I don't know. The name George always weirds me out because I never know when to stop. Like it's George. Do I stop there? I could keep, George. So George always weirds me out. Okay, look at that. So uppercase also works, but are they the same? Are variable names case sensitive or insensitive? Let's find out. Does first name equals, is it the same as the other one with the capital letter in it? No. So uppercase and lowercase are treated as 2 different things. What are the other rules about variable names? Can I say first name equals Perry? Nope, nope. Can't have spaces in variable names. How about this? Can I have other things like dollar signs? Nope. The only thing that you can have in a variable name is lowercase, uppercase, the underscore works, and also numbers. But there's a little bit of a caveat with numbers. So how about 1 time equals 9? That doesn't work. However, time 1 does work. So the rule with numbers is you can use numbers in a variable name, just can't be the first letter. Okay, so I'm gonna, it seems to me that that's worth writing down. So if I can remember what I did with my pencil. Okay, so variable names can be A to Z, can also be A to Z, and it can also be 0 to 9, but not first letter. Oh, I kind of did a pun there. So here's my kind of weirdo pun thing. See, that one works as a variable name. This one does not. Okay, so today was a really gentle introduction. Certainly we spent most of our time doing housekeeping. We talked about the syllabus. We talked about the book. Please go ahead and buy the book. Do it immediately because your first reading assignment is actually assigned. Chapter 1 is an actual assignment. Sorry to on your first day of class, to give you an assignment, but there you have it. Okay. We also looked at Replit. We looked at different types of literal values like integers and booleans and floats and strings. There are more, but we haven't gotten to those yet. And we introduced the idea of variables, and we talked about the rules concerning naming of variables. I don't know, I think we had a pretty productive day. It's 11:22, it's a few minutes early, but this is a good breaking point. If you have questions, I'd love to hear them. Otherwise, questions?
When is that first program due?
Reading, first
The
reading
project, I
due.
mean.
Oh,
I mean
the
the
first
project.
The project, I haven't assigned it yet. It's
Oh,
just available for your viewing pleasure.
fair
So
enough.
I haven't, let me see. Did I? Well, it will, so today is Tuesday. It will be, we're going to take, you'll have no projects due this week. I'll assign it on Tuesday of next week, and you have 1 week to do it. Okay? So projects will also be on a weekly schedule. Okay? So right now, it doesn't make sense to assign it because you don't know enough. Okay. Anybody have other questions? I'm going to stop the share so I can see your wonderful, beautiful faces. Okay. Catherine, that is a really cool thing behind you. Can you tell us what it is?
It's just my tapestry I got for like decor.
Is it lace?
No, it's just cloth.
Ah, yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, there's a one of the tiny islands outside of Venice specializes in lace for centuries, and the practice is coming to an end because the only people on the island, what is it? It's not Murano. It is the name escapes me because I'm old and forgetful. But the only people living on the island are senior citizens, and the practice is disappearing because nobody, you know, younger people just don't want to live there. So Venetian lace is just outstanding, amazing. Murano is similar in that that's Venetian glass, and Venetian glass is amazing. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? Okay. It was a pleasure having you for the first day. You certainly held up your end of the bargain by being interactive, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, I'm here.
I arrived late because typically like just the links for Zoom don't really work on my computer. So is there a way that you could like send the meeting ID and password? It only works when I use the meeting ID and password on my computer. So that's why I'm on my iPad for today. So
Okay. The every class will have the same meeting.
okay.
So whatever you did today to get it to work will be repeatable. But you're on your iPad. I guess you want to be on your computer, yes?
I do, yeah.
Okay. I will. See, I, I've only ever done what I just did, and but I'll try. I'll try sending out
Okay.
different ways of expressing the link.
Okay, because I sent an email before class. I was like, I'm struggling to get in, and then I just chose to go on my iPad. So if you can figure it out, that'll be great.
Okay, I will figure it out.
Thank you.
Sorry, just to jump in, I think one of the things that was different was like to get in. I don't know if anyone else did this, but I did like, I just like went into the syllabus and then I copy and pasted the link into a tab, and that's how I got it to work from the syllabus. Like if I downloaded the PDF and then I copied it from there. So I don't know if that would help.
Yeah, that was what I assumed that everybody was doing is you just click on the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Usually
number by itself.
when I've done it, usually it gets to like the connecting screen and it just says connecting forever and it never actually does it. So I don't know really what the issue is. I'm probably gonna have to go ask for help to get that fixed. So
I'll tell you what, I'll send the full link out in the form of an email and try clicking on that. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's try it right here. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to put it in the chat. You ready? Okay, here it comes. Try clicking on, well, copy and paste that someplace else, and then try clicking on it later, and it should get you right back into the class meeting. Because actually this link has the password and the meeting ID in it. See, PWD, password.
yeah, the link just took me right here on my iPad, but I can probably email it to my computer and then I can try it from there.
Okay, well, it's a good sign that it might be working. Okay. Anybody else have questions?
Yeah, I just have like a quick question. Do you mind if I like knit during class a little bit? Whenever I'm like not taking notes, I just kind of do it to, keep my hands busy. So I didn't know. Some people I know like don't like it, but yeah.
I had no idea you were knitting, so even if I had known, I would not have minded it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you.
What does it say over your shoulder? Can significantly
Oh,
fewer things.
yeah. Is that like right way on your screen?
It's
Okay.
correct orientation.
Okay, yeah, because I have mine like mirrored, so it's backwards for me. But yeah, can significantly fewer things happen in 2021?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, just like a few less things.
Yeah, can it be just boring?
Yeah,
In
like maybe
2021
one or
can be
two
boring.
good things, but then like other things can just be boring.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you. I look forward to class.
Okay, we'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you. I'll
Yeah.
try the link for next time as well. So thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Bye-bye.